Let's start it right away. Let's move on to the first question, my dear Serpil. Wow, 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 wow. Mr. Irhan says that every man who enters my life doesn't see me as worthy of marriage just because I'm a widow. I get really angry at this statement. What does it mean to be a widow? You are separated. Your spouse has passed away. Being a widow means you have to be the person that everyone thinks can be easily married off to the first person who comes along. I do accept this. You don't have to be a widow, be deemed unworthy of marriage, my child. Right now, everyone between the ages of 17 and 77 is desperate to find someone who will marry them, yet no man is getting married. You don't have to be a widow or not a widow, whether your husband has passed away or you're old or young. None of these are necessarily related to you. We have spoiled this nation of men all over this world. Now the blessed ones say that if I wave my hand, 50 of them come. Why should I get married? Getting married is really hard. They're living at their parents' house without any shame. It's going like this. Yes, I'm experiencing an emotional attachment. I'm afraid of losing him. What should I do? I think you should see a psychiatrist. This is because the fear of loss is, in a way, a small kind of illness. Let's not call it an illness. It's something psychological. You can deal with this through something a psychiatrist would provide or by undergoing psychotherapy. But if none of this is happening, a lot of people are coming to me. I just can't find anyone. What do Why not happening? This is how I do it. I'm sitting with my mom. It goes like this with my dad. I can't find a girlfriend. A lot of people are coming just like I help them. I'll do my best to help you too. But of course, if you need to take medication more seriously, then it will be a psychiatrist. Any way you want, in spades. He says that we have all our fights and arguments in front of our children. Can children experience trauma? In spades. From tics to stuttering to allergies, or even tossing and turning in their sleep, or being overly active. So there are definitely children with trauma who end up in depression. They become very defenseless against illnesses, parental love, fears. All of these must definitely be addressed when the child is not around. You can't do things like that. You can't talk about anything in front of the child. He says, my husband is experiencing some kind of unhappiness. He says he loves me half-heartedly. He's not happy. So from here on, the next part is about starting to look for someone else whom I think will make him happy. At least starting to search. It could be this one, that one, or the other one. And then after that, we'll end up in those situations I don't like. So I say, no matter what, we should go to marriage therapy. Marriage therapy can seriously change the horizon of your real life. People hear things they never expected in the next part. For example, men write things like, when I come home, it's so bad she looks unkempt. She doesn't prepare meals. She doesn't treat the kids well. She's always on the phone. And they say a lot more like this. These are just the ones that come to my mind. A person who feels it starts to fall into a void slowly, whether it's a woman or a man. What's happening? Then what do those accumulations lead to? In what areas is he doing more? What does he enjoy? What does he love? And what does he do to make himself happy? It's turning to that. So this can sometimes turn into a game, gambling, sometimes drinking, or spending all day going from market to market, buying things over and over again, shopping a lot, eating a lot, or being a hypochondriac, calling somewhere every day, or being obsessed with cleanliness, wiping again and again. What I'm trying to say is that various forms of filling the void start. Once a person falls into that void, no matter what you do, I urge you to definitely come to marriage therapy. So there's nothing going on. What will happen? Everyone's parents raised us this way. There's nothing wrong with that. Why should we spend that much money? Then you'll be pulling your hair out, especially if a bunch of hunters come in front of you sitting across from a man. If one of those hunters makes you fall in love, find yourself at the door. You listen carefully to what I say, my son. These things don't add up. Yes, go ahead. My spouse says he loves me, but doesn't hug or kiss me. Even when we're lying down, we're lying back to back. So I guess he is approaching himself. So if you're touching each other back to back naturally, what does that mean? A sign of love. If you're lying on your back, hold hands. Now, if one person has their back turned, the other sticks to them like a frying pan. Kids, all of these are signs of love. A person doesn't touch someone they don't want to, nor do they let them touch. And it already scares me. If your partner, whether a woman or a man, rejects your hug or finds an excuse to slip away, I get worried. These actions show they don't want it. Love is expressed through looks, touch, attention, and affection. It can be shown in many ways, like a playful slap on the cheek. It's not just words. You can tell if you're loved, because these things show that you don't want it. I mean, believe me, love is shown with looks, touching, attention, showing interest and compassion in everything. A slap on the butt when you pass by, or I don't know, picking up a baby when you pass by. That is with what not necessarily in words, but you will understand whether you are loved or not. If they don't desire you in sex, well, we discussed that in great detail the other day, so look at my responses there. All of these things make it easier for you to gauge love from your side. No matter how much they say I love you, if the criteria I mentioned aren't there, it means they're not doing anything. Yes, my husband is very stubborn. He always wants things to go his way. Well, that's a different thing. We won't argue. I've said this many times. If they always want things their way, and since you're insisting in that moment, you're saying that your way is the right one, you will say, okay, my dear, you don't have to call me my dear, but okay, but April, could you take this cat? We have a cat. I'm sorry. They can't take care of these cats and dogs. They're very spoiled. For some reason, spoil them instead of our grandchildren. What is it? We can't necessarily tie them down, or we don't just stuff them into a room. Yes, I was trying to say this. Be quiet. The men, definitely don't create a subject for argument. If there's been an argument and the guy's growling at everything, don't just leave by slamming the doors. Slowly move to another room. Even if the subject gets a little better and your nerves calmer, do not bring it up. 1-2 days later, my life, I love you so much. You're having such a great time. If only you didn't have those claims. Okay, my life, okay. Let it be as you say. I don't like this music, but for your sake, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything for your sake, my dear. But you know I don't like this music, or I don't like these kinds of movies, or this or that. But for your sake, I'm not saying anything, my dear. Say it with a smile like, I'm not saying anything for your sake, my dear. Maybe next time they'll remember. If they value you, they'll try not to upset you. Yes, my dear? Well, I said it for sure. I said that when people fall into a void, they eat a lot. I listed a bunch of things, and one of them is food. So what happens when you eat while you're angry or upset? You're harming yourself. At one point, I had gained some weight, probably due to the absence of my spouse and other reasons, and during times when I was troubled by the sadness of people who could upset me. I had moments when I struggled with a couple of issues. But for this weight gain, all the chocolate, sugary things, you know, bread, this and that, and pastries, we all became little experts, like dietitians. In the first week, second week, you avoid eating these things. After that, those chocolate cravings go away. For 3 weeks, people will endure to get rid of harmful things, whether it's cigarettes or other harmful substances. Those who use this white poison are struggling. For 3 weeks in rehab, you're obviously going through a lot of trouble. But for example, when it comes to writing, I mean in terms of food, especially with sugar and chocolate, I got confused about what to distract myself with, but I said, I can't go to the market here, so I keep myself busy with a lot of work, not getting hung up on certain issues. And I said, I will do this. I will get rid of it. Look how good it turned out. Maybe I've lost 3 pages worth as much as I wanted. God forbid. May it not touch Hazar. I won't buy it again. I will be me. In absolute terms, my issue was with sugar and chocolate. I'm not really that curious about the others anyway, but we've eliminated that too. Now there are people eating in front of me. I'm not even concerned about it. So you will endure too. Honestly, it feels like my husband is making excuses. I was throwing up a lot during my pregnancy. She was really disgusted by them. That's why, even though my pregnancy is over, he doesn't want to be with me. Brother, if your wife found this, know that her love for you has only and only decreased. I hope there isn't someone else. How can a person be disgusted by their wife? Throwing up for reasons beyond her control while giving birth to their child. You clean the bottom of the person you love, like your children. Is there much disgust? With its smell, with everything. It doesn't let you rest, keeps you awake every night. Do you ever get angry at your child? A person who is truly in love doesn't get angry about anything. In short, it's making excuses. And very careful with the search. If it were me, would definitely go to marriage therapy. Definitely, definitely. Believe me, gain a lot, you lose nothing. My husband is talking from a distance, and he avoids making eye contact with me while he talks. I wonder if his love for me is decreased or if he's trying to say there's someone else. Most likely, he's definitely and openly doing something against you. He's definitely talking about a woman or a topic you wouldn't want to discuss. There's never anything secret between a husband and wife. So why is he keeping his distance from me? Especially him avoiding eye contact. It's even better. If he came in front of me, I would solve him in 10 minutes, would get in from here and take him out from behind. It's very easy to tell when people are lying or hiding something. Thank God I know body language very well. I can feel it coming from within me. It's almost like I sense it. Yes, not exactly. If he doesn't want to make love to his wife or the woman in his life, that means there's another woman in his life. Now, sweetheart, we can't all claim to be amazing at sex. There are professionals for this job. Of course, we can't get together with them. We can't be with them. But either we don't do it well or we get mixed up. We show our discomfort that we're not enjoying ourselves. I don't know, but there are certainly things in our behavior, our actions, and undoubtedly our words, until we get together, we're making people angry. After that, however we've been together, that's how it is. The guy isn't enjoying it from there either. Things like physiology, psychology, and even appearance, like being overweight, unfortunately affect people. I'm saying it again, a person in love. Even if you're 3 times or 5 times overweight, they won't even joke about it. They'll care about your soul, about you. He never even mentions these things because he loves you. I know people who say, I'm in love with my wife. He's not saying anything else. Neither is he talking about the body, nor about the behaviors that ruin men. If you didn't show interest when they were sick, or if you scolded them for no reason, got angry, spoke harshly, or pushed them away, no matter how right you are, all of these things come to mind during intimacy. Unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's someone else. But of course, sexuality is very important. There can't be marriage without sexuality. 80% of it is sexuality. And that's why I'm saying whatever needs to be done for sexuality, it definitely needs to be arranged spiritually or materially. If you can fix things without having someone in your life, then going to marriage therapy is the best thing to do. But once you have someone in your life, dealing with a person like that becomes much harder. Is a man who wants a reverse relationship psychopath or gay? He's not a psychopath, but it's possible that he could be gay, a secret gay. So he got married, just to say he did, to avoid any bad reputation or to have children or because it's the right thing to do. But he can't help it. He's trying to use his wife in this situation. Almost every man wants a reverse relationship, but you must be careful. You will never, ever say no. Listen carefully to what I'm saying. For this reason, if he's going to go somewhere, oh, for God's sake, let him go. I'm always talking more about oral sex in every kind of context. If you don't want oral sex, if it disgusts you, then what should you do? What can you do? But aside from that, there is a normal straight relationship. Before that relationship even happens, there's foreplay. You are in love with each other, my dears. Sleep together. The first 10 minutes are definitely important, my dear, with sweet words, kisses, and caresses. Spend time complimenting each other. After that, usually the man wants it. If a woman doesn't want it, says yes just for his sake. But if both sides don't want it, they just wish each other night with a kiss. As I said, they sleep side by side, hand in hand, knee to knee, holding each other like this. So I strongly recommend sleeping together and getting up together. It really enhances your relationship in every way. And as I said, all of this before making love adds tremendous value to your togetherness. Yes, kids, circle. My husband uses a lot of slang words during sex, like swearing or addressing him with certain terms. He's a very polite, really good man during normal times, meaning outside of sex. But then he says, what is this? How can I explain this? When some people get too caught up in sex, they can really start to swear a lot. But what is this? I mean, how am I supposed to explain this? When some people get too caught up in sex, they can really start to swear a lot. They try to address the other person with certain phrases that they think will excite them. They use that word, this is it, that is it. Should I call it the intensity of sex or the greatness of it? And if you only address each other like that when you're just a couple, there's nothing abnormal about it. But some people really enjoy it when they hear or say these things. It increases their pleasure. He says, if he behaves decently during normal times, and if after getting out of jail, you're not entering into a mutual disgust, and of course, if you're not too offended by hearing these things, they can be said, they can be expressed. But if I were you, I would consider these as an excess of love, and what matters is doing it at that moment. If it's not something extremely filthy and disgusting, and it doesn't gross you out, just let it continue. But this is a form of it. Unfortunately, there's nothing abnormal about it. Yes, when we fight or when we can't agree, my husband gets upset really quickly. Every time I go to him, I'm trying to get things back on track. Even if he's the one at fault, never takes the first step. He doesn't even apologize to me at all. Someone asks, what kind of work is this? Let me say this, it's a creation, a bad creation. He considers himself right in everything, gets upset with you. Sometimes he's not right. Even if you are the one who's right, after a while they start getting into certain things. I mean, hurtful words are said during the conversation. So are you a man too? Are you a man too? Or what kind of wife are you? Words like, hey, look at me, irritate. These words, these remarks, hit on the other party's nerves after a while. He cannot quickly get over the impact of the incident, which may or may not be his fault. If you can forget and take the first step more quickly, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are right or that he is wrong. Rather, should acknowledge that we need to be more careful with our words. I mean, you shouldn't talk like this, and some people won't accept it. I mean, apologizing is also important. Like for someone like me, some people just don't like it all. I do everything I can to avoid getting into this situation, my husband or my friend. But if I ever find myself in this situation, won't apologize. Let's say I regret it, or even if I try to fix things, it shouldn't be about saying I'm sorry with words, but rather through my actions, like speaking nicely or something like that. I wish it hadn't happened, and so on. These apologies, I either don't do them or I don't say them, but I had tried to make up for it with my actions. I either don't say these apology words or I don't apologize, but I had tried to act stupid with my actions. It has happened a lot. Yes, I'm going to leave. I will. I say, don't believe in all the talk and nonsense. A person's family is their business. You don't judge by words. Very clear. What are we going to do? Go ahead and leave. Let's see. You leave too. After we break up, if I'm available at that time and everything is going well, we can continue. But I'm separate. And I don't want you to get into any topic by saying I'm going to break up. So when you say I'm going to break up, I'm going to do this or that, it goes in one ear and out the other. For me, break up. Okay, I've become like you. I'm free. If they say, come on, let's continue our friendship, then that's fine. Just because they broke up doesn't mean I'm going to get married. Let's get to know each other. How far does it go? Is everything okay? After that, it's healthy. Yes, my dear? We're in different countries. I always say, don't do it. Even if you speak the same language. Even if they are Turkish and you are Turkish too. Countries, cities. No matter what you do, out of sight, out of mind, yes, you can talk like this every night. If you're working in Arab countries and you both love each other mutually, you can continue. But if the person in front of you really doesn't love you, I mean, if they don't love you, then that's dangerous. The friend is asking how we will keep our love sweet, how we will maintain its warmth. But if the person in front of you really doesn't love you while you're single and before getting married, look what I'm saying. If they don't love you, then that's dangerous. The friend is asking how we will keep our love sweet, how we will maintain its warmth. It's very hard. There are people in front of you, flesh and blood. Even if they look for it, they'll find it. Especially if the person you like is really someone special. Oh, wow. I don't know how you can hold on to that. As long as you're far away. Touching has a huge significance. So don't forget about that either. Yes, dear Serpil. No. Oh my God. So my ex-husband is saying we've broken up. He wanted to make love in the apartment hallway, in the garden, outside, everywhere. They're doing things in the sky, increasing their excitement, like secrecy, escapades, and so on. I'm officially tired of these kinds of marriages. I mean, being together like this, let's add a little something to the marriage. Let's bring in some excitement. Behind the door, at home, or I don't know, in a place where your mother-in-law, father-in-law, or your children or employees are, you can escape from them and look at each other, showing love and affection, but being together is out of the question. Oh, they've already broken up. So it seems that the guy had some kind of issue, or he wasn't really interested enough himself. He wanted to bring something like this to sex. He wanted to bring some freshness. It's a good thing you've broken up, my girl. Yes. Oh, that's exactly the mistake. I keep pushing him away, as long as he wants to be with me. I'm really scared of him. Why? Is he attacking you? He's asking you. If he's doing the right thing, you're making a big mistake. What am I telling you? If a person, whether a woman or a man, wants to meet, be together, or whatever with their partner, spouse, or fiancé, and you're pushing them away, then you should go to marriage therapy. Or if you're engaged, seek help from relationship specialists like me, who focus on partnerships. There's a mistake here. Look, the guy is attacking you. He's hurting you. You're scared. I don't know. Some things come to my mind, but I just stay quiet. He's slapping his wife's butt. Some are hurting by twisting or causing pain in some way, some forcing. All of these, of course, hurt the other person, mostly the woman, by biting and so on, causing a lot of pain. That's why he's pushing. It's completely natural to push away when this happens. But the fear indicates that something is wrong. In any case, you will either talk about this together or come to marriage therapy to discuss it. And you will say, I'm scared of him because of this. I'm scared of him. My heart hurts. It hurts. Or, of course, you can't say that to him. Or, I don't love my husband. Every time he comes to me, I suffer. Oh, I don't want it. I just don't want him to touch me. You will definitely say this in marriage therapy, but not directly to your husband. You can say something like, if you're saying this, it hurts me. What should I do? I desire you a lot, and I enjoy this too. Some women even bite their husbands. No biting, no hurting children, no squeezing too hard. You know, I mean, love each other without causing pain, caress each other, say nice words, have beautiful conversations, talk about the beauty of each other's scent and skin. These things should be said. Or, I don't know, say something like, I really like the hair on your chest, or you're like a lion, my husband, or whatever. Don't make me say pornographic things. Just say what you want to say. But if there's fear, if it really reaches a point where the other person is getting pleasure from hurting you, then if you can talk about it, do so. But the first thing that comes to my mind is that we are not enjoying sex more than we should. Something might have happened in your childhood. You might not even be able to admit this to yourself. Understanding things this way definitely indicates that you need to go to marriage therapy. Yes, dear Serpil. No. Can a marriage work without being in love? I see him as a friend. The person I know as my friend wants to marry me. He wants to say that he loves me. Can I get married without being in love? I'm sure the other person is treating you very well because they are in love. He kisses you, loves you, caresses you, and says nice things. His grip isn't tight on you. He is extremely gentlemanly in his behavior and everything. But a person shouldn't even get married without love, let alone have children. Every display of affection from the other side becomes suffering for a person who doesn't love. I mean, have actually tried this. Now, rather than love, I felt truly and deeply compassionate and pity for my husband who has Alzheimer's. His love for me, his affection, had increased to an unprecedented level. He still thought of himself as my boyfriend. I only felt feelings for him like I would for my child. His kissing my hand like that, wanting to hold my hand all the time lately. I'm not saying this from before. When I was devastated, it was so hard for me to feel anything other than pity for him. I would cry in front of him without love. Actions feel incomplete and pitiful. In a loveless marriage, every approach causes pain. This ongoing pain leads to irritation if he's not sick. And you've married without love in a normal marriage. Every approach he makes towards you will cause you pain. And as it continues to cause you pain, and as you get more and more annoyed, eventually you'll start to get irritated. You can get annoyed by the way he talks, walks, sneezes, coughs, or even by his voice. Don't ever get married without love. At the very least, marry with affection. To understand if you love each other or have physical compatibility, hold hands. If his hand feels cold, bony, repulsive, or sweaty, don't marry. But if you feel warmth and heightened sexual feelings, you love each other, so go ahead and marry. Remember, marrying without love is a pity for both. But if it's not like that, and you feel something warm flowing inside you, like, oh my dear, oh my life, especially if your sexual feelings are heightened, then of course you love each other. And I say, go ahead and get married right away. Don't forget, marrying without love is a pity for the other person and a pity for yourself too. Yes, what path am I going to show? Show me the way. There's a man in my neighbor's house, and I get really excited when I see him. I don't feel any excitement for my husband. So you're saying you don't love him? Very clear and distinct. When you don't love, whether you call it shameful, risky, or say, don't do it, whatever you say it to yourself. And I say that I'm married to this man. If I can't tolerate my current husband, I have kids. How far can I go with this? For them, I wonder, can I endure until they grow up to 16 or 18? So advise yourself to stay calm, be in suggestion, but you say, don't feel any excitement with your husband, but you say you get excited when you see the man next door. You're on a dangerous path, my child. Find a solution. Whatever you do, guarantee the life of your children, your own life, the suffering they will endure. And I'm saying, don't get involved with the neighbors. If you weren't married, he wasn't married, I wouldn't say anything to him. But you're married, and who knows what he is. Don't do it. These are, at the very least, sins. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yes. Why isn't my husband thinking about our home? Every time my husband cheats on me, he apologizes when I catch him. Then he continues from where he left off. What am I telling you? I said it just last night. We talked a lot about infidelities, right? What did I say? Absolutely. Don't forgive this. From the very first day, with apologies and all that, at that moment you are strong. You will say, since you did this, say you won't do it again. Okay, say what you want. But we are going to marriage therapy. We will see why and how he betrayed me. We will lay it all on the table. We will weed out the harmful plants. Marriage therapy, which has one side on our heads, will also stop. You can't do this mutually at all. No one can be neutral on their own. Of course, you can't be neutral. It becomes biased. That's why we'll do this. If it doesn't happen, believe me, just like they say about this lady, it will go on and on 100,000 times until he falls in love with someone else. And then he will leave you again. You know how you say, I can't bear to hurt my marriage, my children. What should I do? Are you saying I should pull away? No. Before you get divorced, we'll seek help from marriage therapy. Before the divorce, a warning will be given to him, and you will see what has caused such betrayals, a series of betrayals. After that, you will fix yourself. Maybe he fix himself. If it happens one more time after that, then, in any case, despite all these therapies, reading my books, and following all this, and efforts, if he still does it, then you will start investing in yourself. You will save some money with this man's money. I said this yesterday too. You will save some money for yourself with this man's money. If your education is incomplete, you will receive training from outside. You will even get primary school, middle school, high school, and even 2 years university education from outside. The money is ready, while you don't have to work to take care of the kids. Then, when the kids grow up a bit more, you'll say, I've been putting up with you for years. I don't want to put up with you anymore. But at least you'll have a golden bracelet in your hand. At least when you go to work somewhere, you won't have to worry. You won't be worried about what's happening to your children and who's looking after them. Even if you go to your parents while they are taking care of the kids, you will work and earn money. At a certain age, when they finish university, and you say, now I can live my life. If you find someone who treats you well, as I mentioned, someone who is not just looking to take advantage of you, but is serious about a relationship, then there are many who come before starting a relationship, even those who come while engaged. They are asking, there is this and that between us. Is this an obstacle to our marriage? Or the woman insists that we must get married. The man says, come on, let's go to marriage therapy. The woman says it more often. We're listening too. When the guy is outside, he tells me to save him from this. I just can't bring myself to tell him I don't love him. Please, let me break up. Or the exact opposite. Well, Miss Salin, I really want to marry her. I love her so much. But she yells at me, curses at me, gets angry, and behaves in ways that completely disregard me when I'm around. This is it, this is that. Anyone who sees all of this as a problem comes to me for advice and suggestions on how to organize their relationships and interactions and guidance. Of course, this doesn't take as long as marriage therapy, these 2 sessions, at most 3, but by that time everything gets better. Will this person be happier? This person or with someone else? First, they get to know themselves, then they get to know the person in front of them, and then it's checked whether they can overcome their problems or not. And most importantly, it turns out I don't like guys like this. There's no way I could be with a girl like that. It turns out I never liked these at all. If we introduce ourselves, we can make the right choice. But if we don't know ourselves, our choice won't be right. How can we get to know the other person if we don't know ourselves? Marriage and relationship therapy will definitely explain all of this to you. Yes, dear. Her husband says, I finish quickly because I don't want to be with you. I'm not enjoying myself with you. That's why I finish quickly. They've been married for 1.5 years. They ask the man. He has a relationship with his wife. I assure you, there isn't. This will completely go to a urologist. Uroldo, the name of the doctor who will look into this. The urologist will look into it and say, brother, you have this physical or biological issue. You will do it like this, you will do it like that. If necessary, they'll prescribe medication, but they will mostly say, this is psychological. You don't love your partner. You don't want to be with that partner. If you are with your partner, you ejaculate very quickly, or this is my number 1 thesis. The person has gotten so used to bringing themselves to climax over the years, waiting for their wife or getting her to do it feels like a prelude. He can't deal with these things. Initially, he can come without waiting, but then bring his wife and come again while waiting. To come violently. At first, he can come without waiting for the woman, but right. After that, he must definitely bring his wife, who excites him so much, and come again while waiting for her. Normally, or he might just give up on bringing himself to climax. In this way, solution is gradually found. It's never a good thing to come without exciting the woman. It would be a real shame. Married for 1.5 years. Don't have children, my child, because it's unclear where this man is going or what will happen. I love wearing low cut and mini dresses, but my boyfriend doesn't allow it. First, we need to talk about how much right your partner has over you. If he doesn't like it, he won't want it from you as a right. I don't want your beautiful body, which I adore, to be enjoyed by others like this. I don't like it. He might say, please don't dress too provocatively. Please don't wear too many mini dresses. But the woman needs to wake up here. If he's saying this already, what will happen if he marries me tomorrow or the day after? Let's go. He will interfere with everything. Maybe instead of low cut, he will make you wear long sleeves. Maybe he will make you wear a long skirt instead of a short one. See everything in advance. Oh, he wouldn't do that. It changes when you get married. It definitely won't change. Whatever he's doing now, he'll do even worse later. I consider jealousy like this as a kind of illness. For his sake, might give in a little to what he says. You might find a middle ground, but make sure of one thing. People like this are disturbed. Don't forget my words. Because a disturbed person will be upset about you looking to the right, looking to the left, wearing this, taking that off. And even if you just glance at a guy while crossing the street, they'll say, oh, you looked at that guy. Oh, you looked at this guy. Those who say these things are jealousy is a disorder. Jealousy is not love. Don't you dare forget my words. Oh dear, what is this? What is that? No, whatever you're showing right now, sure that it will continue even worse in the future. We don't get along because of political reasons. We're always hurting each other. So you have nothing better to do than bring politics into your marriage. I would ask this too. My brother, in fact my son, has views that are completely opposite to mine. One way or another, I've also found a way to step back from being an extreme militant of the political party I support for about 2 years now. I'm not saving the world in any way. If where I am right now feels good to me, then I just keep going. I'm not saving the world in any way. If where I am right now feels good to me, then I just keep going. Why do they think like this? Why are they doing that? Or if they don't know their limits and are throwing things in my face like, look at this, look at that, I used to respond to them by saying, well, yours is like this too, but I've given up on that too. He keeps saying it, morning, noon, and night, until the person in front of me relaxes. It goes in one ear, out the other. I'm even too lazy to open my mouth about this. I recommend it to you too. Why should I be sad? Why should I darken my soul? I don't watch those kinds of things. Channels I don't want to. I don't buy those newspapers. I'm being told, why are you holding on to this person? Why are you holding on to that one? I tell those who complain a lot that I'm not dealing with these issues anymore, and I just shut it down. Unfortunately, this includes all my friends as well, but they learn too. Out of respect for me, they no longer pursue these issues. They don't open up in front of me. But the truth is, getting caught up in trivial arguments in daily life, especially in marriage, is the biggest mistake you can make. So forgive me for saying it's foolishness. Don't get into any kind of argument at all. Talk about the same topics in every other matter, besides this one. Or just stay silent to avoid getting pulled into it. Go to another room. If the girls come after you, say, don't do that, darling. Let's not let this topic come between us. This could be about Fenerbahce or Galatasaray, who knows? Why do you believe in God? Why don't you believe? Why are you so religious? And all that talk shouldn't damage people's personalities. Before getting married, there are places that look at these things, like those who are Muslim, but still consider this or that. Should we be with people who think like this or not? We understand each other very well, but to our beliefs, he believes in this and I believe in that. You both are Muslims, but I want you to not pay attention to these kinds of people and not give space to these kinds of things. I mean, people have cultural differences. They come from different places. You can say, what's wrong with that regarding what we call tukaka? If you can find a middle ground, or if you can live your whole life without touching on each other's beliefs, neither interfering with your prayer, nor with their lack of faith, even if you're married, shouldn't get involved. Your children will see both of you. There will be people like you who do not believe in this. Whether it's someone who believes a lot like the other, don't let these things into your private life. Consider these as the unique characteristics of individuals. I mean, someone coming from another country could be a Christian or have different views, or talk about sexuality. Sorry, kids, something just fell on me. Oh, I was scared to death. Anyway, all right, it's done. Serpil's phone, recording. Anyway, Serpil took care of it. I said, what's happening? God forbid. Is there an earthquake? That's how it is. Don't let these things into your life. Respect feelings. Love is respect. Be extremely careful and respectful towards each other's feelings, thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and emotions. Love is, in a way, respect. Don't forget that. Love is, in a way, respect. Don't forget. If you can't stand it, don't marry someone like that. If tolerable, ignore it. It's their nature, let it go. Or just say it's part of their nature. But if you haven't agreed on issues of honor, or if you both can't agree on certain matters related to upbringing or the characteristics of your hometown, you need to discuss it before getting married. You should decide on what values you will teach your children. For example, when I was little, and even a young girl, flirting would make my parents extremely angry. In America, when our children reached that age, we didn't say anything about it. We said that flirting, as I described, is normal. As you can see, people can change, and it can depend on where you live. But when it comes to the fundamentals, there are certain truths about your humanity, goodness, sacrifice, love, and some moral issues that will always define who you are. Whether you're in America or Japan, people have always seen cheating as a reason to separate from the other person. There are some things that just don't change. Whether you're in America or Japan, people have always seen cheating as a reason to separate from the other person. There are some things that just don't change. Be the same in the fundamentals, but one of you should be A and the other Z. As long as you find a middle ground without touching each other, you'll be happy and content. Yes, my dear Circle, between 3 and 4.5 is good. So what are we doing between 3 and 4.5 on Wednesday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon? Kids, I can't do it at night. Please forgive my mistake. I'm not a night person. Look, the sun is out, looking at the greenery, admiring the beautiful sardines I've got. I feel like making a joke or something. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I don't want to stray too far from the topic. What do you think of my hair? Turn on the oxygen. The painting is from me. What do you think about how I did the coloring? Just look. I'm turning on the oxygen. I only have white in these parts, and that just came out. I'm also tapping, tap, 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 at the bottom of them. That's all. But how do you find the cut? Isn't it beautiful? I swear I'm cutting it myself. I would cut it like this in America too. I used to do the same with oxygen in America. I swear the ones that are already yellow turn platinum like in the sun. It's my recommendation. I'm trying to lose weight without weakening myself. Don't say things, what will I do with losing 1 kilo a month? Just go up and down, walk around. I'm doing housework, and as I move around, I'm slowly losing weight. I've been slowly making my way here since November. Hopefully it's time to swim in the sea, so I'll be better. Despite this, I've been slowly making my way here since November. Hopefully it's even time to go swimming in the sea. So I'll be even better. She needs to improve herself in every way by thinking good thoughts, listening to positive conversations, and spending time with nature and animals that I like. It really helps me feel good. Talking with you all from time to time also makes me feel great. Teaching someone something and reading their loving, affectionate messages makes me very happy. I love all kinds of songs, music. There is such beautiful music. I'm listening to these. What were all those beautiful series I loved? What were they called? It was at night. We used to watch it like that. Not being able to watch the series really bothers me. Also, they don't bring newspapers here on Saturdays and Sundays. This is my least favorite thing. Other than that, I'm managing. I've just finished exactly 5 weeks, and I'm entering the 6th week. I haven't been stepped outside the door yet. Whatever they say, we will do it. In this job, as Turks, we are appreciated, loved, and admired everywhere together. We will carry it through to the end. Don't forget my numbers. Talking to me like this for therapy and books, 533-213-6957, 533-213-16